There is another planet that can do far worse uh, effects for you, malefic effects, than Sunny. That is Rahu. So a negatively afflicted Rahu in your chart can be quite detrimental for your growth. You may feel like you're not progressing much in your life. Something is holding you back. And we often associate Rahu with the head of the snake, Ketu being the tail, but both Rahu and Ketu are represented by a snake. In other words, we also associate it with the spine of the human body. And according to astrological studies, Vedic astrology, that is where the planetary effects, whether good or bad dasa bhukti that you have, the rays of those planets, whichever planets come through the spine. For example, if you're running a Jupiter dasa, and that's a very good dasa for you to get money and standing in the society. But if, for example, you have something called a Kala Sarpa dosha, Kala Sarpa means Kala means time or for a lengthy period of time. Sarpam as a snake. Um, so again, in this aspect, it is more associated to Rahu being the Sarpa. And the yoga means the positioning of planets or the combination of planets is Kala Sharpa Yoga is like at the start and at the end of the Graha Malika Yoga. That means a series of planets. It is between Rahu and Ketu. So all the planets in your chart, if you are born at such a time, the planets are situated between these two shadow slash serpent oriented planets, Rahu and Ketu. So they are at the edge of the 2 points of your chart, and all the other planets in your chart, including your Lagna Lord and your Rasi Lord, they are in between them. So this is, for example, is a Kala Sarpa Yoga, which also means that they are heavily afflicted and influenced by the serpent-like planet. So in other words, Rahu and Ketu also represents anything that is found in a serpent, leglessness, being very close to the ground, so there's no progress upwards. Poison, venom in the fangs. So Rahu being the head of the snake, it always likes to poison things, creating a sense of fear. Why is it represented by a snake and not something like a lion or tiger, which is apparent in India where Vedic astrology was made? Is because a serpent can be coiled at the corner of your house, being a mud hut, or if you're in a farming community 3,000 years ago when Vedic astrology was actually created, having a look at a coiled serpent will create a sense of fear, because if you are bitten by a cobra, for example, your time to live is about half an hour, 45 minutes. Whereas if you're being mauled by a tiger or such large cats, you can actually get away with things that you can manage. But a snake is just life or death. So fear is what Rahu and Ketu is. But there is one particular so-called remedy that sometimes I prescribe to my clients, and it doesn't work all the time. It depends on your own chart. Your Rasi Lord particularly must be able to give you this kind of remedy for you. Again, I have to see the entire chart. But what I do recommend for some of my clients, some of the natives, is to pray to Lord Kuberan, who, okay, his image is actually coming up here now. He has a white mongoose as his so-called vehicle, as his vahan, as we sometimes associate to deities. Lord Kubera itself is the protector of the northern direction. So again, if you recall the symbol of medical sciences in various universities, there you see the scroll or the degree that you have a twin serpent like thing from north to south, up to down. So north part is where the head of the snake is. Kubera actually governs there, and he has a pet mongoose which is white in color. Mongoose, as we know, they like to battle and kill snakes. Again, Sarpa dosha, many times we associate it with the killing of snakes. Our forefathers, grandfather, who was actually brought around during the Japanese occupation, for example, if you are in Malaya, Singapore, Malaya, Thailand, Burma, they brought in a lot of Indians to clear the jungle, to lay railroad tracks. So killing of snakes was very apparent. And there are, out of the, I think, 14 curses, killing of snakes. Snake curses is either in number one or number two position. So it's quite a heavy going curses, but we do not associate curses so much when it comes to your own individual Raasi chart. Again, depending on the positioning of your own birth chart, your Raasi chart, praying to Lord Kubera may give you some relief, especially when it comes to money, because he is also the vault keeper of treasures. And snakes sometimes, again, symbolically represented, snake representing fear. You are fearful of losing money at a time where Rahu can do terrible damage to you, can inflict terrible losses, sometimes worse than Sunny, as I've mentioned. Praying to Lord Kubera might help you. Sunny doesn't, if you are afflicted by a negative Sunny, praying to him may not help you. It is only specific for Rahu. How do you suppose you would know whether it'll help you doing this kind of prayers? And you have to consistently do it for 16 weeks. Well, you have to have your chart analyzed and read. If you want me to do so, please reach out, comments below, or send me an email, and I'll be happy to do so. But again, studying of Rahu, more so than Kedu, they are both part of the snake, but they are different parts. One has the venom, the other has the majority of the spine. By looking at the tail end of a snake itself can induce fear, but you are not as fearful as trying to avoid the fangs where the venom is. That's the head. So Rahu and Ketu, they are just positioning of, they are not real planets per se. They are just positions of points in the sky where the Earth and the Moon actually so-called traverses. They have a crossover path in the northern and the southern point. They call Rahu Ketu is the twin dragon, as they call it in Chinese. Northern node and the southern node. It's just points of fear. It's just an illusionary point. It's not real. Rahu and Ketu, they are just shadow planets, as we call it, Chaya planets in Sanskrit. But the effects of Rahu can be real. It can be damaging, especially if you have something like Kala Sharpa Yoga, Sharpa Yoga, or Sarpa Dosha. So they are different from Kala Sarpa Yoga. You can have a Sanivat Rahu, Rahu behaving worse than Sunny, that you will think that I rather have Sunny with me than Rahu. But it is all studied heavily by our ancient seers and rishis. And one of it is a Kubera worship. Again, your chart must support it. You need to find that out. I wish you all the very best and God bless you. Thank you.